Hi, it's me, Matt, again. I'm back after a few weeks of hiatus, and today my review will be 1517 to Paris, which is the latest film from the 87-year-old Clint Eastwood. Now, this movie's gotten widely panned by critics and I think audiences as well. And, most will start their reviews with these long, monologues about, oh, Clint Eastwood at 87, he's had such a storied career. And they talk about, Mystic River and all the westerns he was and in Gran Torino, like all these movies. And I'm not going to do that because I'm just going to cut to the chase. 1517 to Paris is one of the most inept movies I have seen in the theater in a while. I think since Book of Henry, this movie does have a lot of kind of Book of Henry shadings to it, where it's just a total fucking disaster. So just wanted to get that off the fucking top. I don't even know where to start. It's one of those movies, but for those of you who don't know what it is, it's a movie about these three guys who grew up together, and they're played by the three people who they're played by the real people. So they're not actors per se; they're just real people. And these three, one day after going on a vacation, are on a train, and the train is attacked by a terrorist, and they're kind of asked to step up and save the day. So it's it's an ordinary kind of slice of life tale, but obviously with this terrorist attack, it has a bigger lens, and to me that concept, sounds really interesting. Who's the kind of everyman who, for a few moments in his life, became this extraordinary, savior? So I mean, conceptually, the movie sounds promising enough. The problem is Clint Eastwood just cannot direct movies anymore. I think people have been way too kind to Clint Eastwood over the past 5 or 6 years. I know Sully and American Sniper were very well received. American Sniper got a Best Picture nomination. But I kind of detested both movies. They are just so languid, and they have no really dramatic purpose or movement to them. It's just like they were very safe and middling. And American Sniper in particular, I thought was really dreadful. So no, this is coming from someone who has not liked Clint Eastwood's past couple movies. Also, J. Edgar. I actually did like Jersey Boys. It was nowhere near as flashy or good as the musical, but I think it was an okay movie. Where this film fails, I think I give Clint Eastwood kind of some credit for trying to do something new. I think some of what he does here is, you could even say, a bit experimental, because he really is. This movie doesn't follow the rigid guidelines of a biopic. It's kind of, we follow these kids as they when they were kids, and then we pick up later when they're adults, and then they kind of go on the vacation that led to them being on the train that day. So the structure of the movie is interesting, but it ends up being completely fucking terrible, because the dialogue is just, holy fuck, it's bad. Oh my god, I forget. I almost don't want to credit the writer, because I don't want them to be like, I don't want to hate on him too much, but Jesus fuck, there's just lines here, and it's just like, oh, Marshawn Lynch, that guy's a beast. Or like, oh, the best line was, there's no god that can, or no, there's no statistic that's bigger than my god. And it's just kind of those cringy, like, overwritten, melodramatic lines that really just, like, it's painful to listen to. And I don't want to beat up on the real life heroes who are playing the actors, but they're not good. And I also have to say they weren't helped much by a really shitty screenplay. But let me try to get their names here: Alex Scarlatos, Anthony Sadler, and Spencer Stone. Those are the three. They're not the worst performances I've ever seen, but there's moments, and especially because this movie asks them to do so much. Like, it's really just, many scenes are just kind of them interacting. It doesn't try to hide their performances at all. And I think in that sense, their lack of experience really shows. This is maybe just a personal problem. I think just the fact that they're in this movie is a bit of a gimmick. Like what I don't understand what it really adds to it dramatically, and to me it seems almost kind of disrespectful to be like, hey, can you guys relive the most traumatic day of your fucking lives? Like, I don't know. There's just something incredibly problematic about it to me. Like I said, that might just be me. But yeah, their performances aren't really up to snuff. I think there's quite a few problematic things about this movie to me. I mean, it really is the most Republican movie I have ever seen. And I'm not going to talk about politics. I really have no interest in doing that. But the way early on this movie kind of perpetrates like war culture and gun violence and just things like that. Like when there's a scene where the young Spencer takes out a real rifle and starts pointing it around the room. That was scarier than any scene I've ever seen in a horror movie this year. Like, holy fuck, this little kid's holding around a rifle and just pointing it at everyone. And it something about that just felt really off. And it just didn't sit well with me. So I warn people who, I mean, I'm not extremely liberal, but people who are extremely liberal, I think, will fucking detest this movie because like I said, it's the most Republican movie I've seen in quite some time. But I think where this movie went from being terrible to fucking abysmal to like being one of probably the worst movies of 2018. It's definitely my least favorite so far. Is the way Clint Eastwood handles the terrorist attack. I, I found this really fucking abysmal, and I don't get why critics are not really talking about it because a lot of people are like, "Oh, the way he handles the train scene is it lacks kind of the cinematic flair." But to me, it doesn't lack that because there's scenes constantly throughout the movie that tease the attack. The beginning of the movie basically teases the attack. Midway through, we get some of the attack, and then we get one more thing where we see someone get shot. But the way Clint Eastwood feels the need to tease us, like, oh yeah, it's coming, don't worry, it's coming, it's coming, felt so fucking offensive to me. Like, it not only is it overly cinematic and it's just gross. Like it really gave me a kind of icky feeling, and to me, like, that's what takes me out of a movie. Like, if you make me feel gross for watching something, then it's like, then fuck you. Like, there's no need to like tease the audience. We obviously know it's coming. It's the title of the fucking movie. You don't have to constantly tease people to keep them interested. And I honestly think that's why they did it, is because pretty much the first 80 minutes of this movie is all dialogue, and then the final 15 minutes is the train scene. But I it just really sat with me wrong, and I think a lot of things about this movie really sat with me wrong. And to put that on top of just how poorly executed it is, it leaves me with very little of positives to say. I guess I'm gonna give the movie a 1 out of 10, and for the only reason is because I give Clint Eastwood maybe a point of credit for just trying something a bit new and experimental. I mean, I didn't even talk about how there's a 30-minute portion of this movie that's literally like a travel log, and it's just Spencer and Anthony, they're going around in Italy and stuff with their selfie stick, and it's literally the most boring thing you'll ever see. But at the same time, I was kind of engaged just because it was so like audacious, I guess, to just make a movie that's like a travel log. It's like, I think an independent director or someone who, even just a generally good director could have made this a good movie. Like, there's definitely good material here, but I just think Clint Eastwood has kind of lost his way. But yeah, that's my review for 1517 to Paris. Hopefully, within the next week, I'll be doing some more reviews. I'm sorry I haven't really kept up with it. I've had a busy couple weeks, but definitely going to be seeing Black Panther. I'm sure there's a lot of indie movies I want to talk about. I'm probably going to see Tham Thread this week. And I'm going to try to do an Oscar video, talk about my thoughts, what I think the best movies are, stuff like that. So, as always, thanks for watching. Subscribe, comment, like, all that fun stuff, and have a good one.